define water quality?
From my perspective, water quality depends on how you're going to be using the water. So whether you're going to be using it for drinking water or recreating in, or catching runoff, or catching gray water to be used for irrigation. I feel like water quality is highly dependent on how you're going to be using.
For me, when I think about water quality, I initially think of just the general health of ecosystems surrounding bodies of water. So I think, are the animals and plants that live in the bodies of water, whether it be oceans or lakes or rivers, healthy? And is that type of environment prospering, or is it suffering? And then I also think of kind of what Ali said, is it generally safe for people to swim in? Is it safe for people to drink? It depends on what you want to do with it, like she said. But in general, could it provide a healthy ecosystem for people or animals or plants?
What does the task force do when they measure water quality? What's that process look like?
Mirror a little bit of what most cities do for like beach water quality testing, seeing how healthy the beach water is, because a lot of people are recreating there, so they want to make sure that the water is safe for people to be in. And so we look for mostly E. coli, which is also a fecal indicator bacteria. We use sort of a commercial, sort of approachable kit from IDEX, and they make both the Call Alert and Entero Alert. So Entero Alert's mostly looking for E. coli, where Call Alert is looking for a more broad fecal indicator bacteria sources. So yeah, for the most part, water quality organizations, or like so us among with like the cities and whatnot, look for sort of sewage pollution. So that's what you find with fecal indicator bacteria testing.
You could address what are some like central points of pollution that are leading to such low levels of water quality in Mission Bay?
Yeah, it's generally urbanization, and specific to, I mean, that's taking a step back. Like I'll get further into Campland and Mission Bay, but urban runoff is the number one threat to water quality in our entire region. So I'm sure a lot of you have probably heard you shouldn't surf or go swimming in the ocean for 72 hours after it rains. That's a problem. And the reason for that is because every time it rains, urbanization generally means there's a lot more impervious surface everywhere. Before all of that development, when it rained in a natural ecosystem, a lot of the water could absorb and then be infiltrated into the ground and into our groundwater systems, and that's a much more healthy overall water table and ecosystem. And that process also naturally filters out pollutants. So as development has increased and impervious surfaces increase, that water can no longer be infiltrated and it has to go somewhere. So it also creates, and while it travels across these impervious surfaces, it picks up a lot of pollutants. And then those are all deposited in our natural urban canyons, streaks, rivers. They end up in our lagoons and eventually the ocean, no matter where you are in San Diego. So that's a problem and sorry, I should also add that leads to flooding issues. Like when you have so much impervious surface all over these different areas, the flow rate goes way up. It kind of spikes over a shorter period of time. So instead of having a lot of the water be able to infiltrate into the ground or be absorbed into the ground, it all goes somewhere. And then it ends up in those like channelized, wherever our stormwater systems direct the water to go. And then it can create flooding and like exacerbated erosion because it's an unnatural way that the water would typically move.
As Patrick said, urbanization is a big problem in Campland. After going there ourselves, we did notice that there were large groups of people there at the beach. By conducting further research, we found that as of December 12, 2020, the bacteria levels exceed the amount of acceptable Enterococcus levels by almost 230 mpn per 100 milliliter. So what can we do to reduce these numbers and promote good water quality?
I would say that if people don't have the time or, you know, funding to donate or anything like that, that they could just feel conscientious about what they're using in their everyday households and how they're disposing of it. There are a lot of easy ways, like recycling properly, or if you can, do composting. And the goal isn't just to improve, you know, water quality here, but it's to make the environment healthier in general. So if you can eliminate using plastics, or, you know, if you're a homeowner, make sure your plumbing's all good, or planting like ocean-friendly lawns and things like that. There are a lot of things that can be done to improve water quality in general. Yeah, and then for Surfrider, if you can't help out, you can just spread the word also.